Right, everybody, yay, tags today. And I'm going to show you the process that I do when I've got a few to make. So I worked out that I've got 8 to make, all varying sizes. So that's for the pockets that I've done. I've got that one that's pre-done, remember, leftover paint. So I'm going to use that as well. And I've just got some odd pieces, that's a bit of packaging. Just gessoed over and then doubled over. All right, it's quite interesting. That's just gessoed a couple of times. Quite interesting texture. This sort of like card come paper. It's very thick. Okay, so I thought that it's got very fine grain in it, which I don't know whether you can pick that up. I don't know, but there we go. So I'm going to use that one and a piece of watercolour paper. Okay, and this is the one I don't like because it's not smooth. I like smooth watercolour paper. This one's got a grain in it, so I'll use that as well, which I've used some of that in the book, so that's okay. We know that works. So this is how I start, right? I get my paints, that because I keep them all together, what I've used through the journal. Okay, so we know we're in the same colour scheme, theme. And we need gesso, and we need a matte medium. Again, this is my process. You know, there's loads of tutorials out there on this sort of thing. It's just what I do to batch do a load of tags. Okay, you've seen me do the ones on wallpaper, and you know, there is one wallpaper one in the journal actually, because I stole it from my book because I thought it really looked nice. So again, I tend to use, you know, not too much sort of whitish. I'll use a buff, I'm sorry, I should back around that way, buff titanium. If you haven't got that, a bit of gesso with a bit of any colour in it, really, just to turn it from being too white. But I will use a bit of white, but I'll use that sort of colour as well. Okay, so what I'll do first is, because this one's pre-done, oh, and another thing I get ready, sorry, miles away, is just some odd bits of paper to do the collage on the plain pages. All right, this was from this little book here. I think they're £1. These ones from the range, they're really handy. It's a nature one, so I took all the ones of leaves and things like that. And then I've got, you know, these ones left over. I've got a tree there. I've got some of that left over. Oh, that's another tag pre-done, near enough. And I also have some plainish papers as well. Some book pages. This is sort of just a bit of block printing on some paper, you know, misprints, okay, that we can use. Again, some more printed out things that didn't go right. I think that was I nicked those from my sister. She always does that. I think it's something don't print right, or a printer ink runs out and she gets that, she'll cover the other page and use it. So I shall be using some of that. So that's all scrap stuff. Okay. There, some plainish paper. Just all sort of autumny tones. I love that. Some scrapbooking papers that's been left over. Part of my digi kit. I've used that on the front cover, so okay. Let's say. And then these are ones that I've printed out at some point. Some tickets and things. Some vintage one. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, that's what all I get ready. Okay, so what I'll do, I won't worry about that one so much for now. I'll get the plainish ones done. Right, I'll show you on the small one first, and then I'll do all the rest exactly the same, just any, you know, quite random. Okay, so come down. Oops. I mean, I don't even cut the tags to size. I actually like it if I don't, because I never know what I'm going to get at the end of it. Let's look. Let me put this. A bit more plain, I think. There we go. Okay, that's that one done. So that's all I do. Okay, and then, you know, I trim down the tag later, but that's all I do for the base anyway. Sorry, there's a few procedures to go on top yet, but that's how I start. Okay. Okay, that's all the ones that I've done. Okay, that's the one you saw me do. A bit fast there, sorry. There we go, that's that one. Then it's the A4 piece. Okay, that was that packaging paper, and I just covered it with that one there, and there's that square piece. Okay, so that's all I've done. So they need to dry now before we go on with anything else. But this is a way again of using up scrap papers, you know, still staying with the theme of the journal. And we shall, you know, because I've done their inking tags, haven't I? So I thought this way is something a bit different, because I could bring out my inks again and do some more, but I quite fancy having a play with this. All right, I mean, some turn out lovely, some turn out a bit, you know, we have to do something else with them, but you know, it's fun, and I like gluing and things like that, and I feel like I'm doing something with all my scraps of paper. All right, so we shall see what we come up with. Right, okay, this one's dry, so I thought I would add some gesso, but I'm going to do it a bit different today. This is a bit of deli paper. You can do it apparently with vellum, but vellum wrinkles to me, so I'm going to do it on deli paper. All right, I'm going to get the shiny side, okay, and I'm going to apply some gesso onto this. I just fancy doing something a bit different, so I don't totally want to cover up what I've done. I'm going to go this way. No, actually, I want to go that way. Okay. I'm going to put it on like that. There we go. I will get in a mess, you know that. Right, okay. Yeah, I like that. Totally random, and I prefer that to a brush technique. So let's get the other bit now. So I'm going to do all of them like that. Okay. I quite like the randomness of it. So, yep. Right, so I thought I'd add the next colour with one of these plastic sleeves. Okay, because I thought not all of you will have deli paper, but I'm sure you've got some kind of plastic bag or some kind of plastic. So I'll do the rest of the procedure with that. I'll just go and get my paints a minute. And I'll do this one. And then I'll do the other ones off camera. Alright. So I'm using the buff one now. Like I say, if you haven't got buff, you can use a bit of gesso with a little bit of brown in. Just a little bit, just to take the edge off. Alright, usually works. Just to sort of dull the white. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit on and brush it on. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. That's all that is. That's just layered another colour. Okay. For now. And then, like I say, I'll go ahead and do the rest. And I'll be back when they're done. Right, they're all fairly dry, but I suggest when you do it, make sure they're, you know, if anything, I like gesso left overnight, to be honest, because I do find it's better. But they're fairly dry to work on. So what I'm going to do now is actually cut the size of the tags out of here. All right. And then I'm going to apply some ink. So, and that I think might need stamping. I think I'm going to stamp that actually. This one is starting to look really good already. And I haven't applied any ink or anything. So, you know, it's just a way to do your scraps. It's a bit like the franking papers, you know, but I was doing this sort of years ago, really, with bits of artwork, because I used to like just sticking bits of paper on other paper. This is, you know, when I got a bit bored at night sometimes. And I definitely want to keep this yellow flower in a tag, you know. So you cut that down, you've got yourself a nice tag there. So I'll go and cut out the tag shapes, and then usually get a few spare. So I hope I've done enough today. If not, we shall do some more. Okay. Right, they're all done, all cut to the size I wanted. So I thought I was going to stamp them first. Then I'm going to use my inks. I've done a little test piece to see, you know, about the colours. I think the sage green or the forest moss is a little bit on the dark side, but again, it's watered down, isn't it, when I apply it? So, and I like all these colours here. Haven't got a red actually. I have to find the red one. A minute. Right, got that. I've put that on there as well. Okay, so that's the sort of colours that I most probably add. But I'm going to stamp first with the Tim Holtz stamp, text stamp, which I seem to be using a lot recently. I need to get some more actually. So I'm just going to randomly stamp again like I normally do. A few places. Let's move them over there. Just a bit more interest. And another layer, you know, that's what I'm thinking of. That's it, that's all I want. Okay, see what I mean? Just adds another layer. If you notice, I added a bit more on those two because I haven't got so much going on in the background. Okay. Okay, and that's that one. Well, I've got a bit of ink left. I'll just stamp that. That's it. So I could use that on something else later on. I quite like the way they're looking. Never mind. Right, let's see. I'm going to have a bit of mustard seed on that one. Should we do, yeah, lighter first. Maybe a little bit of red. This one's drying up. Oh, bracelet. Just turn that around. There we go. Bit of water. Okay, we haven't got any distress ink on that yet, you know, the vintage photo or anything. So I'm going to dry that first. Okay, let's put a bit more on these. Right, I think they need a little bit of green. Okay, that's how they've turned out now, which lovely. I love this one. It's coming on nicely. But I'm just going to do the green. So I've added bundled sage and forest moss for now. Okay, and I'm going to spritz that again with water. Especially that one because that's quite dark. There, let that do its thing. Right, let's test one first. This one hasn't got much on. So I need a bit of orange on that one, or a bit of red as well. So, okay. Because we always need a bit of contrast. And don't forget, we're going to use vintage photo on as well. So I'm I'm going to leave that one because I need to add a bit of red and yellow. This one's got a lot of yellow. It's quite a bit of green going on, so I'm just going to just dab off what I don't want. Maybe a little bit more in there. Again, all we're doing is building up the layer. Okay, what I put down now is fired brick, carved pumpkin, which is the oxide one, okay, and spiced marmalade. All right, might even need a bit of red, a bit more red, and I'm running out of water. Okay. Okay, I quite like that, the way that's right. I'm going to leave that, you see, because I like that, I'm going to dry it on there. You see, just a piece of random at the side. Can be used on something else later. Definitely need some more red. I'm struggling with the red a bit because it's not very strong. It's sort of wearing out. Okay, that's fine. Right, let's just mop that up. Give these a quick blast and then definitely get some, see if I can get some just red. So again, the yellow has taken over a bit, but it's okay, still like it. Okay, I've got my red. So let's give it a go. Not too much water, like I said, because this is running out my red, so I think we're still going to go a bit orange. That's okay. Yeah, we are. That's because I've got yellow down, but I'm going to put a bit on neat. This is so old, this one. And then spray it after. Okay? That's the way I get it. Okay. Spritz with water. Okay, now we've got red. They're all dry, so out comes the vintage photo now. So I'll ink the edges first, and we go from there, just so we can age everything. There we go. And final spritz of water, dry them, then that is it for the base of them. All we got to do now is make holes in them. Okay. There. Right, so I'll make some holes. just thought I'd show you what I do with the backs. I don't worry about the paint splashes and things like that goes on when I'm doing it, but I actually like it. So what I do in the end is I'll tea stain, you know, I use this one, Distress Ink, all over, just rubbing it all in. Okay, spritz of water and then dry, and then you've got a back to sort of go with the front, really. That's the back's done. I mean, if you wanted them as journaling cards, then you add your lines, but this isn't a journal, so not as such anyway, so I won't be adding any lines. All right, so they're all done. Well, not quite dry, so I will leave them now to overnight to dry, and maybe come up with something else on it, some other texture, but some I want quite flat, so I might play around again tomorrow with them.